All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris, and I'm your host, and this is RFC 778. Brian Kilby is upstairs monitoring, apparently, because that's what I just said before I officially started the show.
He was foolish enough to leave us alone.
Yeah, moreover, he was foolish enough to leave me in charge.
We're sorry.
Yeah. Tonight, Brian Kilby
not
is
not as sorry as I used to be honest. Like, used to, when I would host RFC, the show would run like 2.5, 3 hours like it was a superhero time or something. And, like, it hasn't really done that in a long time. So I don't really think I need to feel bad about hosting the show anymore. Like, I kind of got this at this point.
Well, also, Chris, you don't really have the content to run for 3 hours. So there's that.
That's never stopped me before, Don. That's never stopped me before.
Hey, we have a lot of news this week compared to what we've had.
We had a lot of news, last week, the week before, but the show still ran pretty short. Although I think Brian was
we
trying
have
to
good news this week that we want to talk about.
It's a suppository.
Okay, so in no particular order, I have Matt Melvar here with me. I've got Andrew Diecast, Don Headmaster, and Rob Clay. Work on that, Rob.
Rob Flailthroughs, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Rob Flailthroughs.
That's as good as anything.
Rob the Char. Rob. He's the Char. Okay.
The character is Char, and no, that's
Char. I don't know. Casual Gundam fan. Leave me alone.
Rob the Ox King.
Yeah, that's the Ox King with a Char mask that I photoshopped onto it for Rob.
Yes.
Who's the Ox King?
Oh, Don.
That's a whole nother conversation, Don. Leave it for another day.
The Ox King is Rob's spirit animal, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's his mascot. That was from back when I was photoshopping Char masks onto everything. So Jason, our listeners might remember Jason, who we say ghosted us, but basically just decided to prioritize his home life over us, which, like, 100% support
the
that
right
decision,
choice.
Honestly.
Yeah, the right decision.
So I photoshopped the Char mask over a photo of him at his request. I photoshopped the Char mask over a picture of the Pokemon Ampharos, which I use as my avatar in places. I photoshopped the Char mask on top of Cup because in Japan the character's name is Sha, which is spelled basically the same as Char's name is in Japanese. So, like, it was just a thing I did for a while, and Rob has not changed his face in quite some time, as you can tell. And that's the rest of the backstory. But this is Radio Free Cybertron, the internet's first Transformers podcast, going back to 1999, as the image you might see on my video frame shows this week. Why do I show video? Because I was told I have to show what we're talking about this week, even though that's a big pain in the butt.
You have one job.
No, I have at least 3 jobs. One job is to talk about the news and, run the show through. I'm counting that as one job. Another job is to try to run pictures in time with that. That's a difficult job. But the third job is the most difficult of all, Diecast. Do you know what the third job is?
Babysitting me?
Yes, Diecast. That is exactly what my third job is. Very good. You've been paying attention. I'm proud. Your stepdad is proud this week, Diecast. Oh, that goes back to pre-show or pre-show. I forget which. But yeah, so the Char talk kind of inspired Captain Rufus over in our Discord channel to share some images with us. I certainly recommend joining our Discord if you possibly can, Wednesday nights live while we're doing the show. You can find that at tfradio.net/Discord. You don't even have to install any software. It can run just right out of your browser, because I will let you in on a secret. Discord's desktop client is just a wrapped Chrome browser instance. If you know how to get to it, you can even access like the web page inspection panel and do all kinds of wacky things that won't really affect anybody else on the server, but you can certainly make things look interesting. But yeah, definitely check out our Discord. There's people there all the time. I'm in there much of the day, all the time, because I basically, babysit the Discord. Brian claims he's in there lurking a lot of the time, and he probably is, but he doesn't really interact very much unless he absolutely has to.
Well, I mean,
he's got the whole monitoring from upstairs thing going on, basically.
Yeah, but he can't let all those years of lurking on ATT, atroph. He's got to keep them, fine tuned.
Do you mean to say atrophy, Don?
I'm tired. Whatever. Yes, that sounds good.
Oh, hi, Brian. He's responding in the Discord now because I called him out. Brian, are we having a good show so far? This is going to be the worst thing ever, I swear. So Rob, have you gotten any history on the fives recorded lately?
Yeah, we did do an episode last night, which I have not sent to Brian yet, but we only managed another single week because we end up, digressing about, long conversations about editorial styles at Marvel and DC Comics. So yeah, it's a solid hour blather, and it's, it will be up there bi-weekly for the moment whenever you guys want it. So
it's going to be bi-weekly temporarily.
Yeah, temporarily.
Yeah, we keep having that bullet point in our show notes, and it's for as long as that's true, which who knows how anything's going to turn out. But yeah, from the way you describe it, this week sounds a lot like you had our pre-show and history on the fives this week.
Pretty much.
Honestly, I think that's kind of the best kind of podcast. You have your topic, but you also just you talk and just have natural conversations, and that's what kind of gets interesting to listen to. Which I think is why we had our, devoted sevens of followers for Superhero Time for all those years when we were doing the Toku podcast and later the Star Trek podcast. I kind of miss doing the Star Trek podcast, honestly. Star Trek is good again with new content and everything. And I almost want to start that up again, but I also don't want to commit the time to it. And it's just how do I balance those two forces? And I think the way I balance those two forces is I'm not doing a Star Trek podcast right now.
Well, that's fair. I mean, the other alternative is to just get a group of people together, talk about Star Trek, and if it becomes something you feel like publishing, great. And if not, great.
I was just going to say, think of it as forcing other people to commit their time to recording your show.
I mean, that only has worked for me for so long is the problem. I got several good years out of that philosophy, but, everything, all good things, Jean-Luc.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we should probably get on with the Transformers podcast here. So we do have a few things in the news this week which are kind of interesting to talk about. So first up, I thought I'd put this at the top of the list so we could get Matt's input on this. We have our next masterpiece revealed. Matt, what's our next masterpiece?
Trailbreaker. I figured you'd go to Dawn with this one because he should be way more excited about this than me.
I don't know. I usually just, have you pinned as the masterpiece guy.
Oh, yeah. Those days are slowly dwindling, unless it's specifically Diaclone. Trailbreaker looks good, though. I haven't been super happy with Masterpiece ever since they've gone to the super cartoon accurate. It looks nice, but every time they go full in on cartoon accuracy, it hampers the toy. It suffers for cartoon accuracy, and I prefer Masterpiece back when it was more like classic toy, update of the perfect rendition of the toy with a little bit of or the Dotsons with a little bit of the cartoon sprinkled in. Yeah, Skids was magical.
Yeah.
And Trailbreaker looks good. I'd like to see. Yeah, I got to imagine. There's some extra tooling parts there for an eventual hoist. But
yeah, you would think.
I'm sure there will be a plus version of this down the line where it's more toy decoed, but it maybe not more toy sculpted.
I actually thought this was maybe like an older design, similar to what were we talking about?
Skids.
The other two cars we just got recently.
Skids and Reboost.
Yeah, Skids and Reboost. I actually thought this was refreshingly back to the older style. It doesn't look like hyper cartoon to me.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah. You don't remember what the original toy looked like.
Well,
right.
I mean, no, I know what the original toy looked like. It looked like
Us.
Yeah, dirt. But no, I can't see like this being super complicated, like MP-44, whatever that Optimus
no, I mean,
Prime
it may
is.
not be super complicated.
It'll be overcomplicated.
Yes.
Unnecessarily. But I mean, with this being a truck, like this isn't necessarily going to be a hound situation, because with a truck you can hide a lot more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just this picture, but they have like, Ironhide in there and stuff like that. He kind of fits into that aesthetic to me.
I am still upset we never got a black Ironhide.
Yeah, it's looking less and less like we're going to.
Damn you, Takara.
Well, at this point, Matt, they probably got a lot of those plus recolors slotted in whenever there's production delays, or they just need something to fill in the gap. It's an easy fill in if they have to do that.
That Ironhide is like 6 years old, Don.
Yeah, and the thing, like,
I think its time is gone.
And you're correct, Don, that doing a recolor of something is easier than starting up a whole new mold of something. But factory production.
We'll talk about that later.
I would love to be proven wrong, mind you.
Factory production timelines run kind of long. Like, you have to make it's like getting a doctor's appointment. You got to make it well in advance. But in this case, instead of 3 to 6 weeks ahead of when you want it, you got to call in 6 to 8 months before you want this to happen to make sure that they can accommodate you.
Right. But I mean, I don't think Ironhide has aged to the point where it would be completely blowing the synergy of what we've been getting lately.
I agree with you, Don.
No, in style, I don't think it would. What it would be blowing is the roof off, because they'd probably have to sell Ironhide now for like 29,000 yen.
Now, well, I wanted to ask
a lot of parts.
Well, I mean, they could always, depending on how the mold trees are, they could leave some of the stuff off of Ironhide, possibly for a slim down diaclone recolor, or maybe a parts balancing if there's a diaclone driver, maybe for that setup, and knock off some. I mean, I don't know how the trees are laid out, but I wanted to ask Diecast about this Trailbreaker. This versus the fans toys, Diecast, because I know you've got their Trailbreaker on order. You've got one on order for me that may or may not ever appear.
No, it'll definitely appear.
But will I be alive at the time? But I mean, I have not seen a recent picture of any updates from the fans toys. So how is this looking compared to it? Because that's gonna be the most obvious comparison.
I prefer the fans toys. On the Takara, the upper body and the lower body are just a little bit disproportionate to me. He has skinny waist and skinny legs compared to body. And I think on the fans toys version, it takes care of that. But I think this is a much better vehicle. Not much better, but it is to me, it's a better vehicle mode. I don't know. It's just, I'm going to get both. I mean, there's some figures where I think it's close enough that I might actually enjoy the Takara one more, or vice versa with the fans toys. And it's not ridiculously priced. I was impressed with the $152 price point on this, because knowing Takara pricing, I figured it would easily be 200.
Well, and that's the thing. The list price on this is just a tiny bit under 20,000 yen. Right now, we've got an extremely good exchange rate against the US dollar. It's the best I can remember ever seeing it in my lifetime. It's 130 yen to the dollar right now, which is just nuts from a positive perspective. So that's knocking our US dollar price on that down quite a bit, especially if you're getting it from a Japanese retailer. And most of the Japanese retailers will purposely list under list price anyway. So I've seen reports of people able to get pre-orders for this for about $130 through Amazon Japan once all the currency conversion's done. Now, as always, I point this out every time we talk about using Amazon Japan. There's a gamble with pre-orders that the exchange rate is going to tank between now and when it comes out. And because you can't cancel the pre-orders for these after about 3 weeks from now, if the exchange rate does go bad, you're pretty much hosed.
Yeah.
in the past, when I've bought larger ticket items from Amazon Japan, what I was able to do was buy Amazon Japan gift credits and apply them against the order. I don't know if you can still do that, but it is a good way of locking in a current exchange rate if you want to commit that way. I did that with Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, for example.
Shockingly enough, I'm kind of in agreement with Diecast in the fact that I know it's weird, but I went ahead and did a pre-order for this Trailbreaker. Is one of my he's one of my characters that I love, but he has so little representation overall compared to a lot of other characters, more than some, but less than a lot of others.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured if this happens to come out before the Fans Toys, which would not surprise me, I can see how this is, and I can cancel the Fans Toys possibly, or the Fans Toys comes out, which I'm guessing we'll probably get the Fans Toys later on this year, hoping before this hits. Then I can make a decision either way. So that way I've got the best. And if I end up with 2 Trailbreakers, there are worse things than 2 Trailbreakers.
Yeah. Especially when you can do one in robot mode and one in vehicle mode if your setup allows.
Yeah, and even if you don't like the heavy cartoon styling of the official Trailbreakers robot mode, the vehicle mode looks really nice. It's a very good representation of the old Toyota Hilux.
And I hate to sound a little mercenary, but it's Fans Toys. If I choose to get the Takara, I can probably get my money back for the Fans Toys.
Probably. Yeah. And then, our chat, both Wheeljack64 Josh and Anani TF are pointing out there's a lot of redeco potential with this, even before you factor in hoist retooling. Yeah, I would hope if they did go for some of the Diaclone decos, they would at least put non-Trailbreaker head on it, like a more toy-styled head.
Yeah.
But
that would be nice.
They could get away with doing very little to this other than changing the color and get multiple additional releases out of it and do the same thing again with hoist. This is a really good investment for them. I'm
actually not sure how many colors that was available in a Diaclone, but I know there was at least a yellow one and the blue one, which is DK3, I think.
That sounds right.
And so that's 3 and a plus. That's 4 possibilities for Trailbreaker right there.
Yeah.
And then you've got at least 2 for hoist.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes deep into the reuse potential, and as we've talked about a lot over the years, when they pick something to make a masterpiece out of, that's got to be the first thing on their mind. How many times can we reuse this to? And
that's why I'm surprised it's taken this long to get Trailbreaker. That's one of the ones I've been expecting for the past 5 years. Well, and it just never seemed to happen.
He is kind of a lower tier character, unfortunately.
But I'm going to put
with lots of redeco potential.
Yeah.
Well, one, I believe Matt's right, but I think the fact is they're saving it for when what they're doing. Well, this is just, I have no inside information. This is me off the top of my head. I've always said they'll do a heavy reuse version to kind of help justify a more limited use version. So I think the next official masterpiece is going to be someone like a Jazz, like a Mirage.
Skyfire.
Well,
we know that.
Well, we already know Skyfire.
Yeah, we already know Skyfire.
But that can still fit what Don is saying, though. Get 2 or 3 Trailbreakers out, and that helps to amortize the cost of Trailbreaker itself and put some money aside that they can put against Skyfire.
Right. We know Cliff Jumper's coming eventually too.
Yeah, but like Mirage, you can do a Diaclone. But Mirage is going to have a slightly less recolor potential. Jazz, other than Jazz and Stepper. Or a Shattered Glass Jazz if they ever do that. But I'm just saying, if there's any molds that are a lot more likely to have repaint potentials, they get a better shot, I think, after something like this.
I hope it's Mirage, just so Kilby has to buy
it. As long as they build it sturdy so he can't accidentally break it.
I've got the.
I don't care what he does to it as long as he buys it.
Okay.
I've got Ocular Max Sphinx. And I think that's a phenomenal looking Mirage.
Oh, it totally is. It's nothing like what Takara would do, and maybe that's your point. You would have a wide variety in the representation. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, Don's trying to respond. He's just not quite getting there. He's nodding emphatically, we'll put it that way, and I think he forgot to hit his button. But
I'm nodding with emphasis.
Kilby's in the Discord right now, tfradio.net/Discord, and he thinks Ocular Max Sphinx kind of sucks.
Brian hates good things.
I don't know how it is as like a physical object to interact with, but I like the way it looks a lot.
Now, the guy, Will Jack says in the chat, we did get the TF Con G2 recolor of that Ocular Max Sphinx in G2. If we got an actual Takara Mirage, we could finally get another G2 to go with G2 Sideswipe.
In those fabulous watermelon colors.
Because I have the mold like at least 3 times between G2, the original, and like the half clear TF Con one.
Oh, they could make a red one.
And
like,
if they
won't do for generations.
Right?
Well, and also Captain Rufus mentioned Classics Mirage, which I still think
great reimagining.
Right. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. They could get us a Fracture from a Masterpiece. So we'd have a Masterpiece Crasher.
So as much as I would like that,
I doubt it would happen.
Okay, so let's talk
But it
about
would be nice if it did.
Let's go a little off topic here and talk about Fracture for a little bit, because I remember some details about Fracture. So Fracture was from a Walmart exclusive subline that was movie branded, but was originally intended to be classics adjacent. But Walmart said, we want movie toys stuff, because basically they could not keep movie toys in stock to save their lives at that point. The first movie's toys, I don't know how much any of you remember, but like that stuff was gangbusters. The shelves were stripped clean for weeks, if not months. It was amazing, and is why the Revenge of the Fallen line was 3 times the size, and also shelf formed terribly because that was a much less novel movie. But the thing with
also Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Yeah, it was the exact same thing. Although I got some good stuff out of that Iron Man 2 line.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
I digress in my digression, so let's get back to the original digression, which is Fracture. Sorry. No, it's just my style of podcast. You know how it goes. So the thing with Fracture, to get that in that line in the GoBots reference, the deco artist had to actually do the research and prove there was a real world race car that had a deco that looked like that. So if Bandai came knocking and said that you made a toy that looks like this Machine Robo thing that we own the rights to, they could say, no, we made something that's ripping off this instead. We didn't rip off you. We ripped off this real world thing. And they probably won't ask for as much money from us, or, something to that effect. But like, to get those GoBots references in there, like they've had to in the past do a lot of stretching and bending of concept to get that in something that will satisfy legal. And the original eHobby Minibot recolor set that was supposed to be the GoBots, Takara backed off late in the process of naming them the correct names because of the same fear that Bandai would accuse them of, ripping off their IP. So Bandai, I don't think they would risk anything close to that with a Masterpiece.
Bandai went after Mighty Orbots because of that, and because of the whole Shades of Grey against God Mars, and because if you look at Toy Galaxy's recent look at Mighty Orbots, you'll see Bandai did a very similar thing to them. That's why we never got a second season of Mighty Orbots.
Yeah,
and there were no toys.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, because if we're getting off into store exclusive classics free decos at this point in the conversation, I think we probably exhausted the Masterpiece side of things. But speaking of store exclusive classics adjacent redecos, we have our first look at Amazon's exclusive subline for this year. This is their 3rd in a row, so Hasbro and Amazon must be really happy with this partnership that they've worked out. So this year's set is the Wreck and Rule collection, which is an entire assortment of Wreckers themed recolors of War for Cybertron trilogy toys. Matt
I'm so happy.
like he has.
I'm so happy.
Are you really happy with that impactor?
I'm always happy to get an impactor because it's impactor. Like,
I know.
So is that just a clean deco? Because I don't.
No,
okay, no. So this is retooled. So he has a completely different chest piece there, and the 3rd impactor head on that impactor mold.
Yeah,
We've gotten this toy four times as the same character with 3 different heads. That is so weird.
Basically, I mean, you could make the argument that, IDW Impactor, Marvel UK Impactor, and Netflix Impactor are not the same character per se, but yeah, we've gotten the same concept, the same deco, three different heads 4 times.
This is the one that I saw when this was obviously the first reveal, and I'm like, I already had that Impactor so many times, and this one looks like the worst one to me personally.
Well,
the Netflix one is the worst one.
Yeah, very much so.
But I like the Paleo tracks.
I mean, I think he looks.
I don't care about the Paleo tracks at all.
Yeah, I mean, I like the set, but I have not opened any of my weaponizers or any of the, what was the first one?
Weaponizers.
Fossilizers, modulators, fossilizers.
Okay, all those 3 things, I have not opened any of them.
Oh, you've missed out.
Well, I mean, I don't do the whole, stick parts on other stuff.
Don doesn't like fun.
Well, I'm sorry, I am wrong. I did open Slammer. I'm sorry, I did open Slammer. Sorry.
Slammer's like the least good one.
Yeah, I loved weaponizers, but every subsequent permutation of that is just like.
I mean, I like less and less. I can see that. Fossilizers are fun for a really specific kind of playing with the toys, where you just build monsters out of them. And we've seen some really good examples of that from really creative people, like on Twitter and the forums. But yeah, I mean, they don't have the same customize your toys potential as a weaponizer did, or even a modulator in some instances.
But yeah, I will give them credit for this. Like the remolded parts on this to turn it into a Spinosaurus look great. If I was into the fossilizer things, this would be great. I mean, I'm going to have it anyway because I'm getting Impactor.
Right.
I mean, I love how the colors. That's the only thing I don't like about what's coming up is these colors look great together. I just wish I cared a bit more about Impactor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by the amount of new parts they put into this. So Mark Mayer went on Instagram after these were revealed and talked a little bit about this. So the new parts on Impactor and Spindle, which is the Spinosaur retool, all their new parts are on a shared tooling. So all of it was created together and is molded together. That's why there's colors in common between them. So that doing them all as a bundle like that, of course, this is after the fact of the original mold. So none of this was planned in advance. So they had to go back and add these parts. So doing it this way, they might have made the parts they need out of, say, 2 sets of tooling instead of 4 or 5 if they were trying to separate them per toy. So definitely there would be a cost savings here in doing this way. And also it just makes like a really neat unified color scheme thing between them too, which is going to make the weapon configurations and whatever, bony outgrowth things you put on Impactor.
I mean, I love these colors together. I mean,
yeah,
it really works. I just wish the next thing worked as well color wise.
I just have no desire to give my Transformers bones. It's not
Diecast,
the play pattern's not for me. The play pattern's not for me.
No, I can see that. Again, it's like for me, Fossilizers have a really specific play pattern that is not to equip bones onto other toys. It's to smash a bunch of bones together and see what kind of abomination walks out of the pile. That's pretty much where Fossilizers land for me, and that's the most interest I've had seeing other people interact with them too. Yeah, I'm really impressed with how they've made over Impactor, and the third head on there looks really good if you want that Marvel UK accuracy on there. Like, they did a really good job of capturing that look. I thought the original release head looked fairly comic accurate, but like compared to this, it's just like I don't even know what they were doing with that one anymore. The IDW head is still my favorite, but like this
absolutely
really nice.
I actually because the IDW head came in the 3-pack.
Yeah, maybe I'll open that thing one day.
So but it had a Decepticon logo on it, and the original release with the Autobot logo had the original head. So I ripped the heads off of them and switched them to make it my perfect
Yeah.
impactor.
Yeah. And, you know, if Marvel UK Impactor is the Impactor you remember from your early fandom days, this is now your perfect Impactor. I don't know that that applies to anybody here necessarily, but I was a little bit too young into the online fandom to have the UK comic experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if Brian really got into that when that was going on. But like I think he'd probably be most likely to have been in the right place at the right time to have that experience out of any of us here. We have some longtime fandom friends who probably would look at this Impactor and say, like, this is the perfect rendition. And, you know, if they were collecting at this point, I don't know how many of them still are, but like, you know, they'd probably be all over this the way I'm implying.
The next set is the best one.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yes.
Don doesn't like
Any
it.
idea how long I've been waiting for a Generations Leadfoot?
Yeah, I mean, you and I, Matt, we talked about that. Like, okay, Mirage is coming out. What can we do? And Leadfoot was like at the top of our list. Like, we can finally get some more G2 homages. And I love that Mirage mold, even though the Kingdom does have a weird placement on the ports and stuff because of that. It's G2. I'll take it.
Yeah, Leadfoot doesn't need a shoulder cannon. It's fine.
Pretty much,
I hope a third party does find a way to do a rotor, even if you have to use like the old rotors from the old rotor force if you've got them. I hope they can do something that can mount on that to give us a rotor shooting action.
Okay, so shamefully, I don't own a Leadfoot for sure. I don't think I own any Rotor First toys, unfortunately. Did those connect to their? Did they connect to their toys by a 5mm post?
No, it was a very, very small, tiny post. The hands were not 5mm. They were like little, just teeny tiny little holes in the fists.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they did connect to both to the vehicle and handheld. Some of them held it like this.
Yeah.
But
like a fan.
Like I'm gonna shoot you with my fan. But I love this. Gorgeous. I will take every version of this Mirage mold, give me more G2.
I don't like this mold that much, but I'm totally into what they turned it into.
Yeah, it works really well in these colors for Leadfoot. And like I said, I've been wanting a Generations Leadfoot for years. Like my Wreckers display has the freaking Power Core Combiners Leadfoot standing in, which just does not look right, but it's all I've had. So this one,
there was one.
Yeah. Yeah. So this made me super happy. Like this made me happier than Impactor. Definitely made me happier than what we saw today.
But, yeah. This is the best one so far.
Yeah, this is the winner so far.
And Mastradamus, I mean, I'm excited to have a Transformer that's going to tell me the future.
Not Nostradamus, Masterdominus.
Mastradamus. This is Mastradamus, whatever.
I mean, it's better than other places you could have gone with that name.
Yeah,
so I'll take it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm relieved.
Yeah, it's good.
So I like the dinosaurs. I think having skeleton dinosaurs, I don't know, maybe it just reminds me.
Not a dinosaur though; it's a mastodon.
Yeah,
Power Rangers said it was a dinosaur.
And Power Rangers.
They also said a saber-toothed tiger was a dinosaur.
Yes, and a pterodactyl.
They're all within the same couple of years of being around. They're all buddies. They hit the water.
Oh yeah, the same couple million years. Yeah.
It just reminds me of going to the Smithsonian when I was a kid and seeing the dinosaur exhibit. I don't know. It's just.
But will we get this in the nice blues and whites and reds of Ultra Mammoth in some fashion?
No,
but that would be great.
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised they didn't use that name. But
yeah.
But
Mastradamus
seems to be a popular choice.
Specifically, they seem to want to call this a mastodon, so they're not going to name it something that evokes a mammoth, which is a distinct species or something. I'm not a biologist.
Geologically, they're close. That's all that counts.
Not really.
They're cousins, I guess. But like, I saw someone suggest Slamoth would have been a great name for.
That would have been cool.
But regardless of any of that, I'm just like singularly impressed that they got a convincing looking mastodon or mammoth or whatever you want to call this out of a Styracosaurus skeleton. It's a retool of Ractonite, and it looks just natural as what they're presenting it as. It's ridiculous that this works.
The only thing, and
mean,
I understand they couldn't put him in matching Leadfoot colors because it looked like someone paintballed a poor mastodon, and then, But I wish the colors were more in sync, like the Impactor and Spindle, as far as that synergy. But for a fossilizer, I like it. I just wish the colors, even though they couldn't be closer, I wish they were.
No, I mean, I get you there. Like, Spindle kind of put a bad precedent on this, I think. But if it was going to be wild colors, I kind of agree. I would want it to be the Ultra Mammoth style colors.
Because
we're just going to go off the wall with it.
Yeah, because those blues would kind of work with the blue on Leadfoot. But again, we can't have everything.
Realistically, I guess we wound up with different colors for Mastodominus because the only remolding needed for Leadfoot was a head.
Yeah. Yeah, and as a yellow part, like they can bundle that in anywhere on the new Mammoth parts and just paint it over.
So basically, as a set, this balanced out because Leadfoot needed so little to be done. And
that Leadfoot head may have been intended all along because Impactor had 3 heads, so why wouldn't Mirage?
Impactor only had 2 heads. The new head is the thing they just added for the set. So the head, the chest plate, and the modified cannon are all original parts created for this use.
I didn't realize the cannon was modded.
It's very subtle, yes, but it is different. Like the basic shape of it is the same, but the details are different now.
Oh, nice.
Which seems like a weird thing to invest time into, but we'll talk more about investing time into weird ideas in just a little bit.
I hope you're talking about what I think you're talking about.
Yes,
we are undoubtedly talking about
thoughts.
what you're talking about. Oh, so do I.
Yes, I was hoping you would, but first up, we have to get to today's Wreck and Rule collection reveal because they are doing all of them this week. And that one is Springer.
I actually passed on this one.
Me too.
Yeah.
But it's got the G2 sticker.
No, that's a
record.
That's a record.
Oh, I'm sorry, the record sticker.
When did Springer have that much gray on him?
The G1
G1 toy.
This is toy accurate Springer, except not really, because if it was toy accurate, that gray would be about 3 shades darker. So like the little trapezoidy the chevron-y inserts on the shoulders, Don, all the gray should be that value based on the pictures of the G1 toy I was checking out.
Okay, there's a Stargate joke in there, but I'm gonna let it slide.
I mean, a chevron is a proper shape to its own respect. Stargate just used that as their description. But
I don't like this. I don't
either.
This
I'm not big on
does
it
not look like Springer.
I get what they were going for. Get what they were going for.
Yes.
Like the Galvatron in toy colors hit. Sweeps, toy colors of Scourge hit. For toy colors Cyclonus hit. It seems to work really well for Decepticons, but toy colors on the Autobot toys, I don't know why, just aren't as exciting.
Okay, so here is a basic problem with this concept and this execution, which is that the G1 Springer toy is awful.
Yeah.
Like there's no sugarcoating it. It's just not a good toy.
I wish I could argue. I have one.
If you think about what the artist who made the cartoon character model did with it, what the comic book artist did with it in changing the colors based on the stickers and especially in the comics, the printing needs of the time, that really cemented what Springer looked like for everything that came after. And it was totally to the benefit of everyone. What this is really missing is having some of that sticker detail represented. Like the yellow for Springer's shoulders, which is like an iconic thing at this point, is from 2 little stickers that are just in that area. And they could have represented that on the front of these shoulder panels and gotten a little bit of color and visual interest in there. Like it needs some of the toy sticker detailing tampographed on to break up all of this gray and just add a little bit more visually to it.
Yes, this thing is far too gray. Like you're showing the picture of the helicopter now. There is barely any green left
Right.
in either of the vehicle modes on this thing, the gray just absolutely dominates the entire vehicle.
Yeah, and the G1 toy was a lot of gray in its vehicle mode. Let's be fair.
It had a lot more green than this, though.
It did, because it was designed a completely different way than this. This was never designed to have the toy colors mapped to it, and it shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know, here's the thing. You know how we always talk about how we want the Killing Jar cut figures redone.
Yeah, this makes you afraid for that, doesn't it?
Right. I could see.
You expect those to be awful?
No, I am.
I just question if they'll work.
Yeah, I am. The reason I bring that up is that Springer in the error colors from the third season opening animation with Cup's head.
Ah.
Okay. That's
that's Springer colored as Cup.
I'm sorry, Springer colored as Cup. I misspoke. But I can see this somehow becoming that.
That I might buy.
See, now, if it was the old days with Takara doing their own things, I could see that being like a Takara Tomy exclusive or something. You know, like some pre-order only, like, tell us you want it and we'll make it. But, like, it would happen, I think.
That needs to be a San Diego Comic-Con set, the 5 Repaints of Darkness.
I hate how much I like that title, let alone the concept. Okay, so what would the 5 Repaints of Darkness be? You have Cupper,
Dirge Clonus,
Cupper.
The long haul out of that Devastator set in powder blue. Lime green Shockwave.
Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
We need one more.
I mean, there's endless like Cyclonus and Seeker color schemes to draw from. Like, I think there's a Seeker color like Onslaught that they call Slaughterhouse.
Nice. I was just going to say one of the background random Dinobots in just like every color.
No, Matt. See,
like Snarl.
Then Matt, they would do a G2 colored Snarl and stick it in that set, and that'd be the only G2 Dinobot we would have.
See, I want Studio Series 87, which is just a whole line of 5 Faces of Darkness animation errors.
Yes.
Admittedly, that wasn't 1987, but like it can't be Studio Series 86 anymore. So
yeah,
Studio Series Fall 86. I don't know.
Yeah, 86 plus.
I don't know. I think we'd have to call it 86 minus at that point, Don.
Yeah, but anyway, back to Springer here. It's got way too much gray on it, and it makes the yellow on the chest look really out of place because it's the only yellow there, and it's a huge block.
Yeah,
and then the blue Wrecker symbol stamped in the middle of that. Just nothing is cohesive about this at all.
Yeah,
I really like that toy.
In our Discord, Egus is posting pictures from like Google image search of G1 Springer, and like there's a lot of gray, but yeah, there is a lot more green than is able to show on this new one. And
maybe if that green was a little brighter to compensate for a little bit less of it, maybe.
Well, no, it's just if they would take the piece that becomes like the backpack and just paint that green, like you'd solve a lot of the color balance issues in the alternate modes.
Now,
does he put some yellow stickers on his shoulders?
Well, with him being a Voyager, does he come with a companion figure?
No,
there's
he's a single pack.
There's no pack-in figure, and there's no remolding on this either. This is just a straight redeco, or on this. If you ask me, it's a dedeco. But
the only thing extra in this will be the part of the Wrecker's hammer, which I will never complete now because I skipped this.
Well, you won't really care anyway because the Wrecker's hammer, according to JT Prime, is not an accessory for the toys. It is some kind of large papercraft product or project. So you can put that together and have that to be a thing that you display. Rather than the logical thing of being like a giant 5mm compatible hammer that Springer or Impactor could wield once you collect the whole set. Because if it had been that, I might have pre-ordered the Springer just to have that dumb thing.
Yeah, I figured it would be the Energon weapons gimmick where they all come with little clear plastic pieces that clip together to become a hammer. Yeah, that's ideal.
And going back to our 5 Repaints of Darkness, Jerome will put a screen cap in showing Slaughterhouse. the Onslaught Seeker.
I kind of like those colors on that Seeker mold.
What I kind of like is the Constructicon colored shockwaves. Just to its
that was one of the ones I called out.
How are you?
Okay.
In my head,
it kind of is, isn't it? Am I imagining
what?
That those shockwaves are basically Energon 6-shot.
Energon 6-shot was like yellowy, not near as much purple.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a Hot Rod Snarl.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I'd be on board with that. Man, I really hate how into the idea I am of just this 5 Faces of Darkness Error redeco set.
Yeah.
There's so much material to draw from, and so much of it has become so iconic to the fandom that it almost feels plausible.
I hope, some store needs to pick up that as a capsule.
I bet you if we suggest it, they might think about doing it.
But no, I don't want to suggest this until after we get our Killing Jar set, because I don't want to.
Okay, that could be a San Diego Comic-Con set. The 5 repaints of darkness has to be a store capsule.
That makes sense. As much as any of this makes sense.
Or
all right, so
PASCon type thing.
Okay, so let's talk about things that don't make sense. But first, we'll talk about some things that are not super interesting to me personally. So we got some Studio Series Deluxe reveals. Interestingly, Takara got out first with the reveals for this assortment, which almost never happens anymore. So we got official looks at Sideways from Revenge of the Fallen. I actually didn't remember what Sideways' robot mode looks like, because all I remember of him is that he got cut in half by Sideswipe. But apparently it looks something like this.
I don't know if it originally looked like that.
The hand. I've got the original movie toy, and his hands were not ape hands like that.
Well, keep in mind the original movie toy would have been made from early production materials and not necessarily represent the final model in the movie. And there was licensing issues with the car they used in the movie. So Sideways was one of the few, as far as I remember, that was not correctly represented as what he was in the movie for the toy line. But yeah, it looks like a thing, I guess. Car mode.
Yeah, a lot.
Something fictitious, I assume.
Yeah. Back in the early days, I remember seeing some digibashes of this as a kickback, like a movie kickback because of those door wings, and I'm thinking that
I remember something like that.
That could be kind of interesting to see in those colors.
Then I'll set up the next set of images. We're gonna save the best for last here, and by best, everybody knows what I really mean.
Like that one episode of Star Trek.
Well, I mean, Don, we named the whole podcast after that. How can we not make that episode 100 and the finale? Like, where was there to go from there? Even though we did eventually bring it back for like 10 episodes.
A one shot or something, yeah.
Well, we did several episodes, and then like we had scheduling issues and we couldn't get any further. But anyway, this is apparently Dark of the Moon Bumblebee with no battle mask.
Every time I see another Bumblebee, I'm like, didn't we get this one already? Like, it feels like
yes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the problem with movie.
New hat.
Yeah, movie Bumblebee is like main Gundams to me. I can't tell them, with very few exceptions. It's like Murder Bee. I can tell that right away.
Well, yeah, because it's a different color, and also it's evil.
Yes, but also the rest of these, I can't. I can't do it. I have no. If you hadn't told me this was Dark of the Moon, I wouldn't know. It's a movie.
I wouldn't know either, except I saw somebody else say it.
I could have figured it out from the stripes and stuff.
Okay,
but
that's more effort than I want to put into it.
Looking at it originally, I'm like,
I'm just like the robot mode. Like, how do you tell?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and that's why I just feel like every time I see another Bumblebee in Studio Series, I'm like, didn't we get this one? Like, how have we not hit every single Bumblebee by now?
Yeah, and the thing, like, I don't think I've invented this term, but when I did the blog post for these, I described the condition as bumble blindness because I just can't tell They all look the same. It's terrible. Except for Age of Extinction, which actually did try to change the visual style of the robot mode in a more meaningful way. And of course, the Bumblebee movie, which was, a Volkswagen, so that's not much to confuse. But like for the most part, like it's just how do you tell all of these apart?
Yeah.
I mean, I picked up BB 123. And
is that a spoiler for later, Don?
No. I talked about this before.
Okay.
I got around in my backlog. And it's like I can tell it's because it's the movie Bumblebee, I can tell. But it's like when he's in robot mode, he's like, I think which movie is he from? I'd have to look at screen caps to figure out which movie he's from, because in robot mode, he's a movie Bumblebee.
Yeah. Okay, this is the moment everyone's been waiting for, literally everyone. So, Don.
Yes.
Thoughts?
The hell?
Yeah, so this is a Studio Series 86 Arcee, which we had been threatened with the existence of for a little while, thanks to our insiders. We knew this was coming, but we didn't really have any details about it. We all assumed it was going to be the Earthrise mold again in some way, shape, or form.
We all feared it was going to be the Earthrise mold again in some way, shape, or form.
Fair enough. That's as good a description as any. But, we had our expectation of what this was going to be, and it's not. So we spent some time studying this. By we, I mean myself and other people on Twitter who are so inclined. What this is about 30% of the 2014 Thrilling 30 Arcee and 70% all new things.
Yeah, the upper torso, the head, and the shoulders appear to be the Thrilling 30.
The arms in their entirety are also, and the front half of the card
I'm
shell.
not so I couldn't be certain of that, because remember that had two different sets of arms.
Yeah, these are the STCC arms.
Yeah, these are the Combiner Hunters version.
Okay.
I have that toy.
Which is thankful. I'm glad to see those finally put into use on a general retail release.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I can't understand why the rest of it exists.
Is
Okay.
it because
now I can answer at least part of that, because that toy did have some cringy body shaping going on with
it certainly did.
Curves and stuff around the midsection.
Yeah.
And they have remolded at least that part to be more cartoon accurate and like angled.
Yeah, more robotic.
Which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made it more robotic, and they actually added a waist swivel to it that was not present on the original release.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
now,
really awkward in action, but it's there.
Now, that's partly possible because they've also redesigned the way this transforms to some degree. Now, the original release of this was made so that the hips of the robot would form part of the back end of the car. That is no longer the case. There is a fully enclosing car shell now.
Again.
Unlike the Earthrise toy that seems to have enough hinged panels and such to fold up relatively compactly against the robot's back and not be a detachable element to slim down the backpack. So that's at least a step of progress. But if you want your Arcee to actually meaningfully become a car rather than just wear a car, or taking a couple steps backwards again.
It's
I think
basically
she's still wearing a car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Basically she's like a pretender wearing a shell in a way. But I'm wondering how long this has been on the drawing board, because when Arcee came out originally in Earthrise, that was what, 2 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
2020.
Some of the early feedback was how people were unfavorably comparing it to the Thrilling 30, and some people prefer the Thrilling 30. Or at least they saw, they didn't see much of a need to change out.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, would that have been enough lead time for them to say, okay, let's take what we think they like about this, we'll change this, and we'll put in Studio Series to be movie accurate.
I just think they realized Earthrise was a really bad toy. It's really bad, and it's frustrating.
Well, if they have anybody
and
monitoring social media when this stuff is released, and they have
which they say they do,
right,
Yeah.
they would have seen how people are saying, "Oh, my store is nothing but Arcees." For the longest time after each one came out,
I wish they would have got the message to marketing so they wouldn't have rerun it in Kingdom.
Exactly. And here's the thing: I have Arcees on the shelf that I don't want. I don't want these. I will probably get this. I hate it. I'm going to buy it just because it's going to be Studio Series Arcee.
I
But
don't.
geez,
I don't hate this.
I don't. Okay.
I still prefer
okay,
the Thrilling
hate
30
maybe
version
too
because at least part of the robot actually becomes part of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've taken that away from this, and it bothers me. And
Well,
And I think the backpack's a little bit too big.
Yeah,
the
I think
backpack is a little
because
bit
of
too
that.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me,
Also-
it's sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, I mean, the thing I have about this is the chest is still weird because it had that weird,
It becomes front of the car. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not just that. It has the weird proportional exaggerations that went with the rest of this RC of Thrilling 30 RC's anatomy that's now no longer present.
right.
So it's just this one weird, needlessly perky chest trapezoid. And
I love the
it's-
language we come up with on this show sometimes, I gotta say.
yes, so
That-
it just
it-
they could if they were going to remold so much of this, I really wish they would have done that last part
Yeah,
to
because
make this like exactly what I wanted, and also make the paint wrap around midsection, which
Yes.
is driving me crazy.
yeah, although that would have been 2 additional paint applications most likely, but I'm with you there on that. As for the chest thing, like what makes it more frustrating, which you may not have noticed yet, and I'm gonna make this worse for you, they remolded the neck part
Oh God.
above it. They remolded the abdomen below it. They left the chest alone.
Well, if
Now-
they did the chest, they would have had to do the roof or the hood of the car. I'm sorry.
Maybe
Not
maybe
necessarily.
not. Like they could have reshaped this somewhat while keeping the what I would call the business end of it the same position and proportions to fit with the hood of the car.
Yeah, because a lot of the odd angles are hidden once it snaps to the
Yeah.
body of the car.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and
it's possible.
And honestly, if they hadn't changed the neck piece to make the head sit a little bit lower on the body, they could have just added some geometry to the chest piece probably and had it work and read proportionally, but they lowered the head now to do that instead. It's just like, okay, so my thing here is not why didn't they remold the chest? It's why did they keep any of the original toy at all? And just, they got 70% of the way there. Why didn't they just keep going and make another whole new RC?
This is really weird.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes!
it doesn't.
Yeah.
With Studio Series, they have been trying to get as close to the movie look, aesthetic, feel as possible.
Mhm.
Look at Hot Rod. Look at Cyclonus. Even
Right.
though he was Kingdom, we
They've
all
been
know
doing
he's-
really well with it, actually.
But this seems like it's a girl toy. Let's put in a minimum amount of effort, and then we'll call. Well, not minimum, but maybe.
Yeah, definitely not minimum.
okay,
RC
let's-
needs a new character design.
Yeah, she needs
Yes,
flat
yes.
out.
Yes.
And this seems like this was a halfway attempt to get something new-ish out without actually redesigning a new toy for one that's had 2 releases in the past 3 years.
Like, I look at this and what I immediately think is, wow, this is a really Takara thing to do. And I just wonder if this was something that Takara wanted to initiate. And because the lines are unified, it's just going to end up in our Studio Series also. But this was not anything Hasbro specifically had intended or planned.
Or
to
maybe
do.
maybe Takara said, "Hey, we'll pay for half of this new stuff because this is what's going to fit with our lines."
I mean, it's essentially the same idea, but yeah.
Would you like to be further confused for a moment?
Oh yes, I'm certainly not
please.
confused enough by this.
Those are not, at least not the unmodified Combiner Hunter's arms, because they do not have slots for her swords on them.
Well,
I
they
mean,
really
you can
don't,
actually,
do they?
no, you can actually see kind of like a set of panel lines on the forearm that kind
Yeah,
of
I told
look
you
like
I told you they were new arms.
Yeah,
Nobody
Oh.
listened to me.
I mean, I thought I knew that toy, but they're a modification.
I'm sorry,
of-
Matt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't believe you, because yeah, it is. They are new arms, or at least a modification of the Combiner Hunter's arms, because those sockets are gone.
Did I cry out in exasperation yet, or was that just in my head?
You did.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
What the hell?
Okay, so it's 73% a new toy, maybe 75, which is counting.
I think for me, it just sums up being like, it's a very WTF toy. It's a very WTF toy for me. Like, the hell.
Yeah, no,
Uh-huh.
I agree.
This
And
would be a perfect.
This still looks like it has
figure.
the big white tab that allows you to unlock the backpack and take it off. But I can't be certain. It looks like it's there.
I don't think it is.
It'd be funny if it was just to make,
It would be funny in a really sad way.
Even
I
though it's a
mean-
different car shell.
Yeah,
just to maximize the incredibly indecipherable decisions made around this toy.
uh-huh.
Well, I mean, if
I hope it's there.
I will say on this one, the car shell looks better than the Earthrise one. It's
yeah.
less like all encompassing.
I agree.
The proportions on this car shell are a lot better than what they came up with for the Earthrise one. That almost like the Earthrise one almost had like a super deformed thing going on in vehicle mode. The occupant compartment was really small compared to the width of the fenders and quarter panels in a way that just doesn't read right under any circumstances. This looks a lot better, but I think a lot of that is probably to the credit of sticking with as much of the original car shell as they did.
Hey guys, y'all see this stuff better than I do. Is there any DNA from Cyberverse Arcee in this figure at all?
Oh no, that's a completely different thing.
Okay, I was just wondering if because it seemed like the panels folding down there on the side, the way they clip everything together. I don't know. I just didn't know whether there was any DNA from her in this as well, just to add to the genetic soup.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I never got the Cyberverse toys.
I'm also just kind of hoping that little slot on the rear wheel cover lets us plug in like a little set of spikes to hit the Junkions with.
I mean,
That's what I was.
That'd be great, but I'm pretty sure that's just a stress relief point for
Well,
snapping
yeah.
the wheel on.
That's for the wheel to tab in.
Well, if they
Yeah,
wanted,
that makes
if they wanted
sense.
more stress relief, they should have made a different toy.
What I was gonna say on
I'll
this
give you that one,
is,
Don.
Yeah,
I think it's clear that she really needs the hot rod treatment, and what I mean by that is push her up to a Voyager, get some extra engineering in there to actually make this a decent toy, add in some of those accessories like the
Add a
spikes
little
on
bit
the
of
wheels.
mass. Add a little bit of mass to the robot mode. Like she can be a little bit bigger than she is.
Yeah, just it, like I don't think the robot looks bad on this. The backpack to me is a little much. They need some extra engineering just to tidy that up a little bit, and then add in some of those accessories and like her red glasses, and just make it a Voyager.
The
Yeah,
backpacks
actually.
are always so big because it always has to be an entire car to cover the robot, instead of the robot becoming half of the mass of the car.
Yeah.
So what I would like for a Studio Series RC, if they were going to do them from the ground up, is not to go accurate to what the cartoon ended up looking like. Go back to the original concept art, where Floro Derry had, well, maybe not use Floro Derry's original art because that guy was insane, but one of the early revisions of it where somebody went back over and cleaned it up and started to work on it as something that could be a toy. But like where it actually had some possibility of turning into a car from a robot that looked kind of like that. Like, it's not exactly in the spirit of Studio Series, but it'd be a really interesting exercise to finally have something that was that original concept.
Now, a concept art series for Transformers, not like they did with some of the Star Wars figures, that would be a lot of fun, actually.
It would. The only positive, and I've never been one that has thought you need to buy a third-party kit to make your figure work. You can buy the kits to make it enhance the figure, fill in some gaps, add a couple of weapons, stuff like that. But if that backpack for this RC does come off and someone does make a smaller replaceable backpack like they've done for figures in the past, if she's in robot mode on your shelf in a diorama, at least you could have a pretty good looking RC that way. But again, you'd have to buy the kit to make the figure work, whereas the figure should be working out of the box.
Yes. Just ever since these pictures came out and I first looked at this and realized what this was, and then started really examining it to see what it was, I have just been so utterly confused. And like, you know me, 99% of the time I have an answer as to why anything about one of these toys is the way it is, unless it's a Bumblebee that I can't tell apart from the dozen others. But like, I usually have answers at some point that I can offer for one of these things, and I just have nothing here. I have nothing for this.
Yeah, I don't hate this. I'm just very, very confused by it.
I feel so weak and powerless.
Well, here's the thing. What if something comes out that's even more confusing later on down the road?
What could be more confusing than this?
I'm just saying if
got like 30% of a 10-year-old toy here.
I know, but if you're right and they say they watch our toys, we just gave them a hold our beer moment.
All right, so last news item, and I was saying early on that I didn't do 2.5-hour shows anymore, but apparently that was a lie. Because we're getting up there. So there's been talk the last few days about a Lego Optimus Prime kit, an official one, license and everything. So there was an official acknowledgement of that happened early today, and the Lego review website Brothers Brick posted a review of a sample they received from Lego of this kit, which apparently they weren't supposed to post today. Because that was down within about 15 minutes. But fortunately, I was up this morning because I don't really sleep a lot anymore. And so I was able to see that and also preserve some of the pictures. So we have a little bit of that to look at. I'm not reproducing this on tfradio.net/news out of respect for Brothers Brick to not, contribute to possibly getting them in trouble for this stuff disseminating. But we're a podcast. We don't count or something. So this is the box for the Lego Optimus Prime kit, which, we've seen a lot of these collector focused things, and this is, pretty much in line with that style. I think to me, it seems a little bit more dressed up, colorful looking than some of them. Yeah. But like, it looks really nice. Let's see, I need to get the right window. So
this looks really nice, actually.
Yeah, it really does. So I read the review Brothers Brick did, and like overall, so the person on the website who wrote about this also was a lifelong Transformers fan. So like they have the perfect context for both of these things, and they were also really impressed by how this came out. So here's some of the parts bags. There was, I think, 10 or 12 of them in total. I think one of the bags was one of the numbers was 2 bags, so the count's a little bit off. So this is what Diecast, I think, was alluding to earlier, maybe in pre-show. Yeah. So the head maybe didn't come out entirely swell, but like, for what they're working with Lego parts, like it's not too bad. And according to the review, the mouth plate piece is actually uniquely developed for this kit.
Oh, nice.
There's always a chance that this will look better in 3 dimensions as well.
The mouth plate is fine. It's the eyes, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna be in my nightmares.
So, one of the problems with the eyes is that they're gonna look a little bit far set back because of how far the mouth plate juts out. But that's also mostly because there's not a nose coming down going into the mouth plate to basically give dimensional context to the shape of the face. If there was a little nose bridge going down there, you would not think anything about where the eyes are sitting. They just look far back because there's no other face detail in there.
Or small. Like if they made them a little bit bigger, it might work.
I don't think there's room to make them bigger. They're kind of butting up against the edge of that panel as it is.
I think the nose bridge would suffice. I think that would make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I think if they could have done like another like super detailed design pass on this and incorporated a little bridge piece onto the top of that mouth plate piece, it would certainly make it irregular for use in other sets. And apparently this has already existed in another set in another color, but was designed specifically for this. Like there's steps they could have taken to address this a little bit, but like, yeah, it's a little weird looking. Even I thought that when I was first looking at these pictures, but it's not that bad, honestly, for being built out of.
It's built out of Legos.
Yeah, mostly standard Lego pieces.
I'm not trying to put it down. I'm gonna buy it. I like I like that it's Lego and that it transforms, but that I'm telling you, that face is gonna haunt me.
Okay,
Dude,
Chris,
I can deal without that because the rest of it looks so good.
Yeah.
Chris, can you go back a picture real quick?
Back to the face.
Yeah. This is what I see when I see this thing.
Oh, I thought I thought you were gonna say this is what you see when you close your eyes to go to sleep at night.
No. Hey, look
That's what
at
I'm
the
seeing.
way the face is.
Don's
Okay.
night terror.
Yeah. Look at the way the eyes are.
Yeah.
The line that you see above the faceplate at the bottom, that's his mouth. He's got a very
Oh no,
Aramzola.
Don, why?
No, I'm saying he's got a very Aramzola kind of thing with the whole face in the chest.
You know what though? You might be onto something here. If that panel separation wasn't there, I don't think it would read as weird.
Right.
Yeah, but it looks
There's a
like
tiny Muppet inhabiting Optimus Prime's skull. No big deal.
You know,
exactly.
You know, Rob, in isolation, I like that idea. Like, let's get a remake of the Headmasters, but with Muppets instead of Nebulans.
Okay.
Shame Lego doesn't listen to our.
I think it's just as well Lego doesn't listen to the podcast.
Well, given that Joe Kide, formerly of Hasbro, is the one who designed this, it's entirely possible he might.
I was gonna get to that. So Joe Kide was actually he had his hands in like some of the Thrilling 30 stuff. Not Arcee in particular, but some of the stuff of that era of toys Joe Kide helped design before he moved on from Hasbro and eventually landed at Lego. So like, yeah, Joe Kide was involved in this and definitely has like the pedigree, I guess I will say, to be one of the people, bringing this to be what it is. And I imagine as this turned out owes a lot to him and, what he wanted to see out of the Lego Transformers project.
I mean, it's amazing that Hasbro and Lego actually came together.
Yeah.
And did this because like, for a while Hasbro was trying to compete with Lego with Creo.
And in other markets they still support Creo.
Yeah, but it's pretty much dead.
Okay, so this picture is interesting because this is MP1 Masterpiece Optimus Prime, MP10, and there's Lego Optimus Prime in the middle.
Dang.
Yeah, he's
Lego
a big
Optimus
boy.
Prime stands head and shoulders above MP1.
MP1
I think
is
it's like,
not a short bot.
So this is like what, 14
inches, I think. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So as far as the transformation, it looks like the legs just turn around at the knees and
no, they don't even do that. It's basically G1 Optimus Prime.
Yeah, which I actually really like about this. That is,
he does turn at the waist.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of difference, but
so how hard is this
hands
going to
fold
be
up
to
rather than
get?
come off? So
not hard.
no, I mean, Lego collector stuff is not that hard to get eventually.
Yeah, like it will probably sell out fairly quickly, but it will be restocked. It may take a couple weeks, but more will come in stock.
All right, because it's like I don't want to go camp outside the Lego store for this thing down in.
No, you'd get this on the website anyway.
Yeah,
not the actual Lego store. So Diecast, take a look at this picture. And like, does Optimus Prime's face still have that weird vibe to you here, where you're looking at straight on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, okay.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's just the eyes.
I know
better.
I know
bigger.
what that reminds me of now. The look of the Headmaster face from Animated.
Oh god. Yeah, a little bit. I can kind of see it.
But yeah, in our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord, John DeLuna is saying that he thinks it's similar in size to Lego Voltron and will have probably a similar price point and parts count.
It's 170.
We've already seen the price.
Yeah, and it's 100.
And
okay,
it's 1,500 pieces.
Here, Voltron,
and it will be available in June, I believe.
Yep, June 1st, I believe.
Yeah, here's
Nice.
Here it is with Lego Voltron.
I have Lego Voltron, also wonderful.
Okay, and yeah,
Damn
John
it,
says this will sell out instantly, but that just means you need to be on the Lego online store at 11 p.m. Central when it drops.
But again, it will sell out initially. More will come in stock later.
Yeah.
Where's
You
my
can
vehicle
sign up.
Voltron?
You can sign up to be notified. They will email you when more comes.
Oh, that works so well for Target.
Lego is not Target.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, just to state the obvious, the unfortunate obvious too. If somehow you miss all of these, it's rare to see a Lego kit like this. It does not get knocked off. So
Yeah, Voltron got knocked off. So
yeah,
Yeah. Eventually,
Diecast
if
has
all
one.
else fails.
Yep.
He's got a knockoff Lego Millennium Falcon, I think, too, doesn't he?
Yeah. I never put that together. That's still in the box.
Oh, I'm just using it as an example, though.
Yeah. But the Voltron I actually put together, it was actually really I
good.
couldn't even tell.
Yeah. So I mean, Don, if by all means by any other means you can't get the real one, eventually some
Well,
option will present itself to you
it's
if you
just-
want it that bad.
With
Yeah.
all the product lines out there, Lego is one of the hardest ones to Donanomics because there's never there's never sales unless Lego authorizes.
oh no, yeah, no, there won't be sales.
and
Yeah.
it's just a very hard line to try to, unless I sell stuff from the boxes and bins to pay for it. It's just not something. It's not a line you can take advantage of sales unless
No,
like Target will do get a free $10 gift card if you
And
spend
this
so
isn't going to
much.
be in Target.
No,
either.
you're
No.
not going to get sales on this because you're going to have to order this
Although-
from Lego online.
Although, Don, this may help you. John seems to be saying that these tend to be on Amazon the next day after they launch on Lego. So if you've got like Amazon rewards points on one of your cards or something, you could
I
maybe apply
do.
that to
That's
it.
a very good
Yeah,
idea.
like,
'Cause I've got some points built up.
Yeah, to this day, you can still get like the 89 Batmobile and Batwing Lego sets on Amazon.
So
I'll have to
like
have
that might be a way
Brian
for you to
set up a short link, tfradio.net// Lego Prime.
Well, once there's actually something to link to, we'll probably do that. But unless
June
you're
1st, yeah.
listening to unless you're listening to this episode at some point in the kind of future here, don't go to that link because it won't.
Check
They'll
out
404 you back to the-
tfradio.net/Lego Prime.
Damn it, I guess. tfradio.net/Amazon though for all your general Amazon shopping, including Legos and Transformers and Lego Transformers and the bizarre case that these exist, which apparently is a thing now. But this isn't the plugs part of the show. We're going to very quickly go through our on topic what we got this week because we're running a little bit long here.
Well, I'll go first.
Thanks to me. Okay, Diecast got in there first. I don't have anything, so that's fine.
I got my first legacy character,
Oh, okay.
and he is
Drag strip.
Yeah.
Drag strip. He is awesome. I couldn't think of his name for a second because late.
He is a really good
Yeah.
toy.
I have not transformed him yet, but I really like his robot mode. I'm impressed with it. I like him. I just hope
I hope the rest of the Stunticons live up to that.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is something we've been talking about for a couple weeks. I finally got it. My Hot Rodimus,
Oh, Cloud Rodimus.
Cloud Rodimus, and they
Nice.
said the packaging was going to be damaged. And
Okay, wait. Let me ask you before you
There's a
continue with this.
scuff on it somewhere.
Have you ever bought anything from Mandarake before?
no, this is my first.
Okay. This is typical experience with them. They will say package damaged, and that can mean as little as this has been opened before, but often it does not even mean that.
Yeah, I can't find any damage on it. And
Someone
Which-
has set another package on top of this at some point.
Yes,
Yeah.
it could just be that. It could.
I didn't I was okay with buying it damaged because I'm like, I'll just take the figure out anyway. But I didn't realize how nice this packaging was, that it's actually like you can open it up.
Yeah, it's got a
and-
slip cover.
yeah, it's
Oh,
got a
wow.
slip cover. It has the comic in there,
Mhm.
and then the figures displayed also. It's just,
So what did this run you, Diecast?
I think we figured it was 120.
That is
With the
really
shipping.
not bad.
Yeah.
With the
So,
shipping?
that was with shipping. This goes for
Yeah, okay.
well above that. And it's
Mhm.
just one of those figures I never got initially, and then prices skyrocketed right away.
Right.
So I was never able to get one. And
That Thrilling 30 Springer is amazing to this day.
yeah.
Just-
And
I mean, just
those
be
colors.
mindful.
those colors work on it way better than they should.
Yeah, they really do. Just be mindful with that mold in general. The way the elbows are set up, they're like a ratcheting thing, but the ratcheting works by bending a plastic tab inside the upper arm.
Yeah.
And eventually that
will eventually
wear
fail,
out and
yeah.
break. Yeah.
I don't
but
know
I mean
that I'm going to take it out of the box, to be honest.
yeah,
Like,
no, I don't even mean that, your copy in particular, just anyone
yeah.
who's still holding on to one of those and messes with it from time to time, like just be mindful of that because that's going to fail eventually. It's inevitable. But yeah, I love that redeco. Part of that is just because like it showed up in the early print materials for Transformers Cloud. And I spent my own time like trying to Photoshop and figure out, okay, would this actually work on the toy? Is this something they could actually make? And every once in a while I do that with something, and then like I feel like I kind of take a little ownership of it. And then when it actually does become a thing, like, well, I've got to have that now. I'm like all invested in it. And like I'm so happy that's part of my collection. And like I'm really pleased you were able to get a deal on that and get that. I wish we could convince Triplet to spend some real money on one of these so he could have one too.
I can't believe he didn't jump on it, to be honest with you. Like, especially like how close to retail do you want to get? How that's as close as you're ever going to get. And it works with my collection because I did that custom Rodimus that is off of the Transformers Prime Wheeljack. So
right, I remember that.
It's not, it's on my Twitter at Diecast too. So it's not unprecedented for me to have, molds that weren't intentionally or initially planned to be a Rodimus Prime be a Rodimus.
Yeah, it's interesting that way.
Yeah.
Transformers Cloud is one of my favorite like little subline things that has happened in modern times, honestly.
I didn't get any of them. This is the only one I have.
I've got Cloud Rodimus and I have Cloud Starscream, which were the two that really spoke to me the most. But like I even like the Shockwave Whirl thing they did. Like that was an interesting application of the molds they had available. Like not everything was great in that line, but the stuff that really hit really well for me.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Matt, you want to go through real quick?
Yeah, this won't take long. So I got Iguanus, Core Class Iguanus, and I actually really like him. I mean, the motorcycle mode is absolutely a Pretender alternate mode, but he's a solid little figure. I dig him. Really poseable too, because all the joints for transformation. He's got knees, he's got ankle tilts. It's great.
Yeah, in a way, he's built like an old Beast Wars basic figure, which is pretty much the best thing you can get out of a toy that size.
And I saw on Twitter, I believe it was at id_armed, photoshopped him as Slizardo, and Hasbro. I need that. And the only other thing I got was my Shoto Super Zhu Ranger kit came in.
Ooh.
So,
have you opened it yet?
Yeah. I haven't displayed any of these yet. All my stuff is still sealed up in the packages. I don't have room to actually actually pose any of them. I just keep buying them.
Yeah, bad habit.
Yeah, I've already got the Go-Kydras pre-ordered. I think
they do. They look really nice.
And I think I think Live Man is up after them. Yeah. Damn it! I need Kaku Rangers and Die Rangers.
You mean Alien Rangers from Hackatar?
Sure, that too.
The Aqualian Rangers.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I've got 2 weeks of backlog because I was out last week because I had a colonoscopy last Thursday.
I'm very sorry about that, Don.
But don't worry, everything came out all right in the end.
Please, Diecast, keep it to on topic.
Okay. Well, I've got a lot of neat stuff that's off topic. I mean, I'll go quick.
Save it for next week.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I've got a lot of really great stuff, but I'll go real quick.
Okay, Don. I will give you special dispensation. because you took a scope up your butt last week.
All right.
And if it makes you feel any better, Chris, I have one thing. So
Yeah, I don't even care that much. We're not like Diecast and Matt were a lot more brief than I thought they were going to be. So like we got the time to burn.
Okay.
I very
cool.
rarely take much time to go over.
All righty.
Yeah,
I picked up.
sometimes you have a big pile of stuff. I don't know. Sorry,
I
Don.
picked up on clearance Autobot tracks from Kingdom that I'm going to try to find someone going to BotCon that can give this to Michael McConaughey for me, because what I always want to make sure.
What did he do to you?
Whenever a Trax figure is out and he was at a convention,
I'm giving
I
you
would
crap.
always try to get him one. So I picked up an extra copy of Trax.
We're giving you crap like you're trying to do to Michael McConaughey.
I know. My local Walmart got in their first wave of Legacy exclusives, so I decided to get Sandstorm because it's a BotCon exclusive in mass retail, which is interesting.
I love
I
it.
decided to go ahead and get Night Prowler. Because Cheetor looks better as Netflix Cheetor, but I can get behind these colors on that mold because it's a Halloween holocron.
Right.
Care nothing about Buzzsaw, whatever. Picked up Cybershark. Decided to go ahead and get one just to keep it in the box. I've got a loose one, but I thought it'd be nice to have one on card. And my last on topic per se, a couple years ago, my Fans Toy Swoop took a shelf dive, and the leg broke and the wing
I kind of
broke.
remember that.
Yeah. I actually have the replacement parts for him and sat down and tried to fix it. No.
Oh.
That was beyond my scope of comfort. Luckily, that weekend, TS Wars was running a sale, so I picked up a brand new in-box Fans Toy Swoop.
Okay.
And my plan is to find someone that can do some repair work and customization. And if I can swing it, I'm going to have them paint that as my broken one once it's fixed into G2 Swoop colors. So I'll only be one red, only one funky sludge away from a complete set. Off topic, I got some
funky sludge. I like that.
That's one funky sludge.
If we didn't have a show title candidate already, I would submit that one for consideration.
Yeah.
I bought one of my first Star Wars toys in a very long time. Gennady Tartakovsky's Mace Windu on the old Clone Wars card, because if I'm going to spend money on Star Wars, I'm going to get something back from when I liked Star Wars.
Fair enough.
Did you find that in store? Did you get it online?
I got that online.
Okay.
I haven't seen. I didn't even know it existed until I just ran across it at Walmart.com.
I got the Count Dooku, or not the Count Dooku, the
General Grievous.
General Grievous.
Which is,
I could care less about Grievous. He's a fifth wheel. Target was
hot Star Wars takes here tonight.
Yeah.
Grievous does suck.
Target was running a one-day sale on several He-Man figures. So for $10 a piece, I got Revelations He-Man and Skeletor.
nice.
I figured for $10 a piece, it fills out what I want from Masters of the
Yeah,
Universe.
they're worth $10.
Yeah. I had some money at GameStop that was expiring. So I got a weird figure. I got Gunslinger Spawn. I have no connection to the character at all. Could care less. But it's a really cool looking figure, like a lot of stuff, So that's going to go on my oddball shelf of no emotional attachment, but it looks cool. I got Jubilee from shopdisney.com.
The VHS package.
Yep, they
style.
had her months before anyone else was even suggesting it coming out at retail, and I had a coupon code for free shipping. So I got the Jubilee.
Cool.
And the last thing I got, second to last thing I got. When it came to Lego, the only line I really collected was Exo Force. I really enjoyed Exo Force, but I just stopped building it after a while. And then I got a coupon for Amazon. Try the app, get 15, buy something, you get another $15. So I decided to get the Ninjago Zane's Battle Mech, because that is very, very Exo Force to me.
Oh, that's kind of cool looking.
It is.
It does look good.
Yeah. So it reminded me a lot of Exo Force, and plus I can sell the minifigures and get most of what I made back out of that.
Nicely done.
Yeah. And the last thing I got was, I've not been a super huge Turtle fan. I like several characters, especially Usagi. But I saw these at Walmart and I decided to get them because I got the AXN Ninja Turtle set.
Huh.
And
Don, you have to tell me how those are when you open them up.
and the
If he ever
thing
does.
is, they're cartoon. They're animated looking, but they're not cartoonish. If that makes any sense.
No, Don, it really doesn't.
But I mean,
they're mostly on model without seeming exaggerated.
Thank you. I mean,
Okay, I can take that.
I see it now that you mention it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
They're $18 a piece at Walmart.
Really?
And you get 4 hands, his grapple hook, a belt, and an alternate head. It's pretty much the same for most all the figures. I got the 4 turtles. Donatello, you get the pizza, and so I mean, it looks like the animated turtles, but it's not this. It's not like what we've seen lately from like the Walmart exclusive sets where they were just so in your face.
Yeah.
And we got Raphael.
Yeah, I feel like some of the sculpts have been based on the later seasons where the animation got a little bit looser, whereas those the earlier TMNT episodes had much more restrained character models.
So,
and I think like the pilot set of episodes was done by TMS even. So like, it was only going to go downhill from there.
So I mean, when you look at your regular turtles, the Walmart reissue retro turtles, or you look at the other stuff that's running 15 to 25 depending on what you get. These are $18 with 4 hands, the weapons, and some other accessory pieces. That's a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah.
So
really
but that's what I got this week and last week.
Nice.
All right, so Rob, why don't you wrap it up for us?
Okay, well, thanks to Don. The one on-topic thing I got this week is Beast Wars reissue Scorponok. And I have learned a few things about Scorponok in general just by handling one. For one thing, I kind of see where the kingdom proportions are coming from now. I feel like the toy kind of is coming from that same direction. It's a little bit on squatty and wide side in robot mode. So I kind of see where the robot mode proportions on Kingdom Scorponok were coming from. Besides that, yeah, I can understand looking at this why it is basically impossible to find a vintage Cyberbee that actually works, because that is a very precarious slatching mechanism. It's
really cool when it works though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I love it, but I'm gonna leave it detached so it doesn't destroy itself probably.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have, with their vintage ones, have actually like kept the rubber bands from other Transformers toys, the transparent ones, and actually just rubber banded that claw closed.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the in package it was actually not quite transformed properly. Like the head of the bee flips back to hide, and they whoever put it in the package did not do that. It's an amazingly elaborate little thing for just a little drone addition to this toy. It's really neat. I like that toy a lot, and I'm really grateful you picked that up for me, Don, because I'm not going to get to a Walmart anytime soon. So I'm really happy to have that. But yeah, it's a nice toy. I don't know. I think I'm just getting old because I'm kind of not feeling elaborate transformations anymore. I really do like things that just are simple to do in both directions and do not waste like minutes of my life so the engineers can be clever.
If that's our metric for getting old, I've been old since like 2012.
Yeah, I feel like we're just creeping back up on that 2012, 2013 level of complexity that I was never really
as long as we don't hit the 2010 level of complexity with like Facehooks Optimus.
Oh yes,
yeah. I'll be honest. The Bumblebee movie, Wheeljack, Brawn, and Ratchet is about the level I'm comfortable with tackling nowadays, outside of some third party figures, because these have more twists and turns than I think they need. But I see what they're trying to achieve. But I don't want any more complicated than say this. Brawn's easy. Wheeljack and Ratchet, yeah, that's about all that I need for my mainline figures.
I think probably the most satisfying transformation I've messed with in a long time is still core class Rat Trap, just because there's just enough interesting complexity for you to go, oh, that's clever, and not, like I said, 20 minutes of your life down the drain changing it from mode to mode. Like I just sometimes Commander class Rodimus Prime still just bugs me because I love how that looks as a robot. I love how that looks as a vehicle. I hate getting it between those two.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's a bummer. And
I still
one of the simplest toys in existence in G1.
I still enjoy, a certain level of, transformation, but like there is a point where it gets too much. Like it still has to be fun.
Yeah.
I wish I could, no pun intended, articulate quite what makes the difference between a transformation that is elaborate and fun and one that is just complicated and frustrating.
I'm
glad it's not my job to have to try and figure out that difference and make toys out of it.
I still like Kingdom Rodimus.
I do too. I just don't like transforming it.
I'm okay with it.
I think the difference is, fairly evident, at least, in the post state of it. Like, what you want is something where it has a lot of steps, but you intuitively know where every one of those steps is and where it has to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It might take a couple minutes to do, but it's a natural feeling experience, and it's not something that you feel like you're fighting against. And a lot of that Revenge of the Fallen era stuff, like we were alluding to before,
was a hassle.
Yes, and it is very much like how Rob described it. It's the engineers showing off, basically.
Yeah, and I feel like my one of my biggest pet peeves with Transformers in recent years is ones where the hips and knees in particular need to be aligned just so for it all to work. That is like a guaranteed and not fun time for me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough old person complaining. That is what I got this week.
All right, so I want to thank our patrons at the touch level. If you would like to help support the show and keep us going for everything we do here, you can sign up at patreon.com/tfradio. We love and appreciate all of our patrons at every level. At every level, you get access to exclusive podcast content and other perks to be named later in trade. I don't know. I'm just going off the top of my head here. But, there's exclusive stuff for patrons at every level. And our touch patrons get the special perks of a shout out on the show every week and the opportunity to be on the History on the Fives podcast hosted by Rob. So if you are a touch patron and you're not taking advantage of that currently, get with Brian Kilby. You can get him on Twitter at bkilby or at tfradio, or email contact@tfradio.net. I think we have a contact form on the website too, which should get you through the same place ultimately. But get with Brian, express your interest. There'll be some checks for your internet connection and the equipment you have, just to make sure everything's going to work smoothly. But you have the opportunity available to you. You might as well take advantage of it, because from the sound of it, Rob and the guys have a pretty good time every time they get together to record. So it's kind of fun to just sit around and talk about stuff for 30, 45 minutes once a week or so.
Yeah.
So I want to thank our touch patrons: Kevin Dorsey, Brian Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Jay Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lutia, Sean Bratton, Spider Bob, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Blake Reynolds, Vegemite Mike, Jason Tate, Eric Griffin, Angel Investortron /Cybertron Toys, and Sean I. Williamson. Thank you all so much for being touch patrons, and thank you to all of our patrons for helping us to keep being a show that goes out on the internet. If you'd also like to help support the show, again, tfradio.net/Amazon. Click that, and every purchase you make after that point, we will get a little bit of referral money back for. You can buy basically anything, and we'll get a little something back from it. So any of your everyday shopping, it all goes to the same place. We all get the same few cents out of it. So everything you do goes to help keep this running, and every little bit counts. I am on the internet with my toy photography at playwithphotography.com. I have galleries and articles there. If you'd like to throw a little support my way to help me keep doing the stuff I do, I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/playwithphotos. You can throw as little as $2 a month at me to help me to keep just kind of doing my thing. And if you would like to just do a random act of material kindness at me, I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist, which, much like tfradio.net/Amazon, also will contribute a little bit back to the show with anything you buy. Rob, I think yours is the next longest plug, so why don't you go next?
Okay. I'm on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is for the most part the official Twitter for Flail Throughs, my YouTube channel. It's focused on Gundam gaming, but on Twitter I've been trying to talk more about toy stuff and the like there. So just, if you have anything to say to me, I will be over there more often than I probably should be, or is healthy for me.
Yeah.
If you want to see my Gundam videos, youtube.com/flailthroughs. Still mostly focusing on Gundam Battle Operation 2. I am going to get back to G Generation Genesis when my shoulder stops hurting and I have like a good solid hour to devote to a stage here and there.
So that's looking kind of unlikely then.
It'll happen eventually, probably.
Yeah,
but
it's fine. I understand.
Yeah, just time, fire, burn.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yes, but beyond that, if you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, you can request specific rounds or request a pilot with your name of choice within reason added to G Generation Genesis when I do get back to that. And, just requests for Gundam games I'm playing, specific suits, specific weapons, what have you. And I also have an Amazon wish list along the same various parameters as Chris's at tfradio.net/playlist.
Don?
Yes, I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. Also, in case you were not aware, I am getting married in October. And we have a quick link, www.tfradio.net/honeymoon. My fiance and I are going on a cruise. It's the best option for a limited amount of time off. And we have picked up a few things at the wedding site to help us, defray some of the cost of the cruise and enjoy a few of the amenities that aren't quite covered.
Like an extra helping of shrimp?
More like one of them's like a high grade shave and spa kind of thing. Yeah, kind of thing. Stuff I would never do on my own, but it's something a little something I want to try. If you're in a position to help and you would like to, and it won't be an inconvenience, so tfradio.net/honeymoon and check out the options that are left. And as always, thank you to those people who have helped out. It'll really make our trip a lot better.
Diecast.
You can follow me on Twitter at Diecast2. That's where I'm mostly active. And then you can also follow me on Facebook or like my page at Reviews by Diecast. See all my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews or youtube.com/RFC-reviews.
Great. And of course, Brian was not here this week because he's monitoring from upstairs, allegedly. But you can find him at bkilby, briankilby.com, where all of his various projects, which mostly is like Christmas albums, because we've all been very bad children. And of course, our dear friends who are not with us on the podcast anymore. So John DeLuna is at that John D everywhere on the internet, except maybe LinkedIn. And Rob Springer can be found at RoboRobSpringer on Twitter or at zonebase.org. And I think that's going to do it for us this week. Of course, you can find the show at TF Radio on Twitter and basically anywhere podcasts are syndicated. So, just look us up. We're out there. Subscribe to us on YouTube, all that cliche stuff. Thanks for your patience. This has been a little bit longer show than usual. Thank you guys for your patience too. I can tell some of you are about to fall asleep. So we'll wrap it up here, and hopefully Brian will be back next week and we'll have a shorter show. See ya. Hey, Brian, are you listening? I'll text him to turn the stream off.
Okay.
Recording
Good night,
stopped.
guys.
Oh, I think he's here.
All
He
right.
stopped the recording.
All right. Night, Diecast.
Good night,
Take care,
Diecast.
Diecast. I'm off as well because I've slept like 5 hours this week. So
All right.
Oh, geez.
Thanks for hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take
Yeah.
care.
That's
if
all right.
we are-
Good show. Good show.
If we are
It
still
was.
streaming, goodbye, live audience. Thanks for being here with us. We'll see you next time.